So 2 years ago, Meg Thee Stallion accused Tory Lanez of something so unbelievable that most people seemed to believe her and immediately cancel and condemn Tory Lanez. Well, let me tell you why in 2022, after only 2 days of their trial taking place, why it is already exposing one of the biggest problems we have in America, which is presuming that a woman is innocent just because she's a woman.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Man, welcome back to another episode of the Ruling Class Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Diddy, back up in this witch. What another video. And if you're new to the show, please know your boy is thirsty to grow and to drink some of this water. You can help me out by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a sec to do that to help me out. I appreciate you. So look, I just want to make sure I get this straight. July 12th of 2022, Meg Thee Stallion accused Tory Lanez of doing something that was so unbelievable, the unthinkable. You had a lot of people at the very beginning who had mixed reactions, but it seemed like most people believed her, right? And it was such a polarizing and a groundbreaking story. I'm going to cover and I'm going to just give y'all the whole loop just in case some of y'all don't know the whole details of this story and why I'm talking about it. And I'm going to tell you after I give you the details and the updates of what's happening as of today as well, my outlook on it and what I think is going to be the outcome, right? And I think one of the biggest things we can learn, one of the biggest teachable moments from this entire situation, and how we can apply it to everyday life, you know, our everyday life, which is one of my biggest things, right, on this channel. So let's see. I took some notes here. The thing is, though, that Meg was quiet for some time, right? She wasn't saying a whole lot on social media, and a lot of people was wanting a lot of details, and neither one of them really was saying as much. But Tory Lanez was pretty active on social media, and I guess Meg Thee Stallion didn't like what he was saying and was watching some of his videos and didn't like what he was alluding to, right? So at that point in time, she had basically went with the story about how she had stepped on glass. That's what she had told the police, that she had stepped on glass, and that's what the story she was going with. But I guess after she was seeing Tory Lanez, you know, making subliminal statements or things of that sort, saying certain things on social media, she, I guess, got upset. So July 12, 2020, you know, you had Meg Thee Stallion. She came out and accused Tory Lanez of doing some things. She accused him of getting into an altercation in the car at some point, and things took a turn for the left. And basically, she said that Tory Lanez let off on her, right? And caught her in the foot, right? Tory was eventually charged for weapon charges and, you know, ended up paying a $35,000 bail. She claimed that the reason why she wasn't saying anything initially was because all the things that were happening in 2020, as far as like, you know, the friction between police officers and you know, the black community and things of that sort. And so the card that she pulled, which is going to be another problem I had with this story, was that Meg Thee Stallion claimed that she didn't tell on Tory Lanez at first because she said that she was trying to protect him. She didn't want him to get arrested and she didn't want him to be killed by the police, something along those lines and things of that sort. She tried to portray herself as if she was the good guy, right, if you will. She was the person who was looking out for Tory Lanez, right? But after seeing what he was saying on social media, she decided to flip on him, right? But here's my thing with this. Meg Thee Stallion's story never really seemed consistent to me from the beginning. There were so many inconsistencies where I felt like it was hard to believe her. And so that's why I was just watching from a distance. I've never made a video on the topic because I was just wanting to see how this played out, because it was just interesting to me when I see like people like Bun B, who's from Texas. You know, Meg Thee Stallion is also from Texas. And you see all these different people hopping on the Meg Thee Stallion train, like, without even knowing the facts, you know. And over here, we're really big on facts, you know, trying to use evidence to support our claims. And it's just interesting. Nobody seemed to care about that. She first, you know, you use the I was trying to protect the black man and I didn't want him to be arrested and everything that was happening in 2020. I didn't want something to happen to him. And okay, cool. And then when she came out and I guess came out and wanted to expose Tory Lanez for, you know, doing what she claimed that he did to her, she was still upset that some people was making music with him and some people was collaborating with him and talking to him and communicating with him. And she was pulling the woman card at that point and saying, hey, this man assaulted a woman and he's abusing women and you're still going to support him. I don't understand you people. Y'all are fake men and y'all are this, that, and the third. And this is the route that she wanted to take, right? So let's go across these inconsistencies, right? One of the inconsistencies is that Meg Thee Stallion claimed that when the incident happened, she was walking away. So if you was walking away, how did you see Tory do anything to you if you was walking away? Secondly, you claimed that after the incident happened, you got back in the car with him. Now, I want you all to just imagine something. Someone doing something like what she said he did to her with a weapon like that, and you get back in the car with this person, intoxicated or not. Like, how much sense does that make? I would like to think that most human beings would be terrified, petrified at that point. Especially it's being, reported now that Meg Thee Stallion is claiming that she wished that she died that night. Is that what you really wish? Because it's not seeming like you did. Another inconsistency is that she was dancing later that night at the club. So whether it was what you claim happened to you the first time or the second time, that being glass or a bullet or whatever it is, how is it that you're at the club later that night dancing and twerking and doing those things? It just didn't make any type of sense to anybody. I know for me, for sure. You also claimed what you told the cops originally was that you stepped on glass, which has now been proven to be a lie. They claimed that they have been able to prove that you didn't step on glass, that it was fragments. So how is it that we can believe what you're saying if you're changing your story and you're flip-flopping, right? Then another inconsistency was that you lied on national television when talking to Gayle King when she asked you were you and Tory involved, and you said no, that y'all were just friends. Well, I think me and most other people who's followed this story know now that that was a blatant lie. We know that y'all had more than just a friendship, right? Which leads me to my last point was that what really happened with this situation? Because a lot of people are under the belief now that what actually happened was that there was a confrontation not between Meg and Tory, or at least that was not the main confrontation, but the main confrontation was between Meg and her best friend, who I believe her name is Kelsey, right? Which, from my understanding, from the research that I've been able to put together, I'm being led to believe that Tory had an involvement with both Kelsey, a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship with both Kelsey and Meg Thee Stallion, right? Which is just a messy situation, and it was from what I'm seeing or from what I'm reading, is showing that Tory went to some pool party or something, or was invited to some pool party where Kylie Jenner and these different people were there, and I guess he tried to shoot her shot there. Meg them left. She got upset. She was in her feelings. She circled back, wanted to go back to make sure that I guess Tory wasn't trying to pursue Kylie Jenner, which most people would probably think that he actually was. And then things end up escalating later, right? So that's what a lot of people are thinking. A lot of people think that whatever happened to Meg Thee Stallion actually happened, as a result from her best friend and not Tory Lanez, which would make a lot more sense when you look at a lot of the details that are surrounding the story, right? Especially when you consider that I believe as of yesterday it's been reported that Kelsey actually just pled the fifth. Now I want you to think about that. If you're Meg Thee Stallion and you've had 2 years to kind of put together your story and whatever you're gonna go with, and your best friend comes to court and decides to plead the fifth, she does not want to incriminate herself, and she's pleading the fifth, which doesn't help you. I wouldn't think that it helps you. It just makes Tory Lanez look that much more innocent, right? I think Tory Lanez, there's a lesson to be learned here on both sides, but I just think this whole situation is crazy. Now, my take on this situation, the first thing is I think one of the biggest things we can learn from this is to stop presuming that a woman is innocent just because she's a woman. I think that's a big problem that we have in this community. We're really big on assuming that a woman or that a human being is innocent, or that they're telling the truth about a situation that makes them a victim if they're a woman. I think we're all guilty of that. And if I didn't stumble across the red pill community, and if a lot of you don't know what the red pill community is, I suggest that you Google it. It's people like Kevin Samuels and a lot of other people who've come to prominence, in that world now, if you will. where they've kind of like shined a light on the fact that not just that women are human, like not that the fact that humans are terrible people. It's just that women are also human just like men. And women think a lot in a lot of scenarios the way that men do. And women do a lot of things, sometimes a lot worse, just in a better way, if you will. They do a lot of worse things in a better fashion, and they're better at hiding it than men are. And I didn't learn that until like the last year and a half. And I'm 28 years old. Like, you would think, like, what you needed Kevin Samuels or someone else to come along and tell you, bro, that women can lie, that women can cheat, that women can manipulate. And it's like, you're not understanding. It's like when you're a little boy, when you're a kid and you're grown to think that, you know, little girls with pigtails and they're innocent and they're clean, and boys are dirty and rough, and we're the cheaters and we're the dogs. And it's like, no, when you're seeing all these videos and these different evidence put out there into the sphere, into the internet world, where you're like, oh my gosh, like, women do the same thing that we do. It's just a wake-up call, because I've been brainwashed to believe something different. This is the prime example of what I mean, right? You have a woman that Meg Thee Stallion, you know, who has created a successful career of giving herself off with all this sexual promiscuity, and she's seen with a lot of different men, and you don't know if she's with this person or not. Like, this is how she carries herself. So that's something you got to keep in mind when you're thinking about these type of people, right? Because a lot of people assume that this woman was innocent because she's a woman and he's a man, right? So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we made here. Another teachable moment from this situation is that if you're Tory Lanez, if you're a man, don't put yourself in a situation. I don't suggest that anybody have side chicks and girls on the side. You know, I'm a believer of the Most High, and I believe that men should be pursuing to have a wife and striving and you know, putting themselves out there as a husband to, you know, looking for a wife. But if you're going to be in that world, man, I don't think that it's safe. I don't think that it's healthy. I think that it's toxic, right? To put yourself in a situation where you're in a car with two women that you're sexually involved with, going somewhere with another woman that you're trying to get with, is just a recipe for disaster, especially when alcohol is involved, right? I think that is a recipe for disaster. And another thing I want to take away from this is that I don't think it's a coincidence that all of this is happening right after, you know, Tory Lanez, I believe he unsigned, or he didn't re-sign with the major label, right? And he was saying that the Illuminati is after him, and he was saying that, you know, he felt like these executives and these major label execs were going to come after him. And all of a sudden that this story, you know, kind of created itself out of nowhere with all these inconsistencies, and it just didn't make any type of sense. So I think that this story is a lot more sinister. I think it's a lot more deeper, and it's a lot more levels and layers to it than we've been led on to believe. A lot of people like to look at it on a surface level, or like, you know, basic black and white. And I think there's a lot more layers to this than we realize. You know what I mean? I think a lot of lies are going to be revealed through this trial, and I'm looking forward to it. Y'all hop in the comment section and y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think that this is Tory's being set up? Do y'all think that, you know, it's too early to tell? Y'all hop in the comment section and y'all give me y'all thoughts. Until next time, peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.